Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into, well, the really electric, fast-paced world of digital out-of-home advertising. DOOH,
Yeah,
right?
I just
Our
saw it.
listener is looking for that strategic shortcut, basically, to understand this tech shift happening across major cities in Bangladesh, Dhaka, Chattogram, Sylhet, and, crucially, what does it actually cost to run a campaign that works in 2025?
Yeah, and this is really a deep dive into necessity now. I mean, digital billboards, they're not just cool tech anymore. They're fundamentally changing how brands get seen instantly, impactfully in these crowded, very visual urban places.
Right.
The move from old printed posters to these dynamic LED screens, it's really become a strategic must-have for anyone trying to compete for eyeballs in a city like Dhaka, which is so connected.
Okay, so our mission today, for you listening, is to give you the clearest, highest impact picture of this market. We're going to dig into the pricing structure, like everything from maybe a BDT 1.5 lakh starting point up to those premium BDT 20 lakh placements.
Yeah, we'll break down what pushes those costs up or down.
And most importantly, figure out the strategies you need to actually maximize your return on investment, your ROI, in this LED advertising scene as it keeps evolving.
We'll definitely compare the old static way versus this new digital approach, look into why spots like Gulshan cost so much, and then hopefully give some real actionable tips, even for, smaller budgets trying to make a splash.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We probably have to start with that basic shift. I mean, I can still picture guys climbing up ladders to change a billboard in Farmgate, maybe 10 years back. It's a huge jump to software updates.
It really is.
So what is the core difference? Static versus these new LED digital screens.
Well, the difference boils down to control and time, really. Traditional static billboards are just that static. They're printed once, they look the same for weeks, maybe months, they're passive.
Right.
And changing them, that means manual work, printing time, weeks of planning ahead. You're basically locked in.
But digital with LED tech, it's smarter.
You mentioned dynamic visuals. Is that just about looking flashy? Or does it unlock something more for a brand, something static just can't do?
Oh, it's way more than flashy.
Mm-hmm.
That creative flexibility is actually a huge driver for getting better ROI.
How so?
Well, these screens can run videos, motion graphics, countdowns, animations. They're much brighter, so they really dominate your attention day or night. But maybe the biggest operational plus is the agility.
Agility. That sounds powerful. Let's pause there, though. What's the actual time difference? Changing print versus changing an LED ad. Are we talking hours versus weeks, really?
We are absolutely talking weeks versus minutes. Content changes. They happen almost instantly through software. A campaign, assuming the creative's ready, can genuinely go live in hours, not weeks.
Wow.
And that speed, that agility, it unlocks this key idea of day parting.
Day parting, meaning showing different ads at different times.
Exactly. You can push coffee deals to morning commuters.
Right.
Then maybe switch to food delivery ads for the evening rush hour,
Yeah.
all on the exact same screen. That real-time thing is revolutionary, isn't it? So if you're stuck in that awful traffic, say Farmgate or Agrabah, that huge glowing screen, it's being constantly tweaked to target you based on the time of day.
Precisely. And the why it matters point here is pretty clear. That creative flexibility, that real-time responsiveness, it leads straight to better ROI because you can tweak your message practically on the fly based on how it's doing. Or if you have a sudden promotion, you just can't do that with a printed poster.
Okay, which leads us straight to the big tough question. What does this digital billboard advertising actually cost in Bangladesh right now? In 2025, we've heard that range, BDT 1.5 lakh to 20 lakh. What shapes that huge range?
Yeah, it's a massive range because, well, the market includes everything from a small static board in a smaller town right up to these ultra-premium, long-running digital campaigns in the heart of Dhaka. So costs typically start around BDT 1.5 lakh, maybe for shorter runs or less prime spots, and can climb up to that BDT 20 lakh ceiling you mentioned. That's for really big month-long campaigns in super prime zones like Gulshan.
That 20 lakh figure, that's a serious chunk of marketing budget. Do the sources mention anything about, say, failure rates or other risks besides just the cost? What's the main worry when spending that kind of cash?
That's a really critical point. The biggest non-cost risk is probably visibility saturation. Ad clutter. If you're paying top dollar for a spot where everyone else is too, your creative has to be amazing to cut through that noise.
Makes sense.
And one way digital providers handle this actually is by often renting the space by time slots, not just a flat monthly fee.
Okay, how does that time-based rental work then?
Well, digital is often rented by the minute or even by seconds within a rotation loop. The cost per minute varies wildly. Could be BDT 100, could be up to BDT 1200. It really depends on the location and the traffic density.
So like Gulshan Circle 1, what would that cost per minute?
A prime spot like Gulshan Circle 1, yeah, that could easily be between BDT 100 and maybe BDT 300 per minute of airtime. So you need quite a few rotations across the hour to get decent visibility.
Okay, so location clearly drives the price. Let's tackle that first. Why does a digital LED in Gulshan 1 cost potentially up to BDT 600,000 a month, maybe 50% more than other big areas? What's the magic there?
It really comes down to visibility and, frankly, audience affluence. Those prime Dhaka spots, Gulshan 1, Banani, Donmandi, they command those prices because they offer just incredible visibility. You're reaching the most affluent, corporate, influential eyeballs there.
Right.
Sources indicate a pretty standard Gulshan 1 digital LED, maybe like a 10 by 20 foot screen, starts around BDT 300,000 monthly, but can easily hit 500,000, maybe even 600,000 Taka for the absolute best viewing angles and positions.
And beyond just the spot on the map, the sources mention specific types of tech influencing price. What are the main kinds brands are putting money into, and how do they differ in cost?
Yeah, we saw four main types. The absolute highest cost, that usually goes to 3D LED billboards. They're complex to produce content for, but the visual impact, the sort of viral potential, it's huge.
All right, 3D is the premium. What else?
Then you've got transparent LED. That's the really sleek, modern-looking stuff you might see integrated into glass building facades. Think high-end malls, or maybe even some of the newer metro rail station areas. Looks very sophisticated.
Right. And what about options for reaching people who are moving around the city?
Two key mobile or transit options there. First is the mobile LED caravan. These are trucks with big screens on the back. They're actually pretty cost-effective for doing short, high-impact campaigns because they can drive around to different busy spots.
Oh.
And the second is metro rail branding, specifically advertising within the MRT system on platforms or concourses. That definitely commands premium rates.
Yeah, I saw a number, something like 350,000 people potentially seeing metro rail screens every single day. That's huge reach.
It's massive.
Is there a risk of ad fatigue there? Daily commuters seeing the same screens day in, day out. How do brands fight that off?
That's exactly where the agility of digital really becomes its own defense mechanism. Brands have to use things like day parting and real-time updates to rotate their ads frequently. Keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh, keep it relevant, maybe show a different message on Monday morning versus Friday evening. The metro rail spots are premium because they guarantee that captive audience. But yeah, your creative strategy has to live up to that. You can't just run the same ad for a month straight. Makes sense. Okay, let's step outside the Dhaka bubble for a second. If a business needs visibility in, say, Chattogram or Sylhet, how do the costs compare? Is it really that much cheaper?
Oh yeah, the difference is significant. Costs outside Dhaka are way more affordable. You're often looking at figures under BDT 5 lakh for a decent-sized digital board.
Like where?
Well, a digital LED in Chattogram's GEC circle may be an 8 by 16 foot size. That might range from BDT 180,000 up to maybe 300,000 a month.
Okay.
And in Sylhet, maybe Zinda Bazaar area, even lower, perhaps BDT 120,000 to 200,000. So the sources really paint Dhaka as the high-risk, high-reward premium playground.
Right. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for me. The strategy. How do you actually get the most bang for your buck? If you are spending that BDT 300,000 or 500,000, where does smart placement really pay off?
Location is still king, definitely, but it has to be targeted location. In Dhaka, sure, the hotspots are Gulshan Avenue for that affluent crowd, Airport Road for corporates and travelers, the metro stations for just sheer numbers, and maybe Donmandi or Mirpur circles for younger demographics.
Regionally?
Regionally, yeah, Chattogram's GEC circles, Sylhet, Zinda Bazaar, those are the hubs. But honestly, their really smart money often goes into combining different media types.
The sources really push that combination idea.
Yeah.
Why specifically the mobile LED caravan? What does that offer that even a really expensive fixed billboard misses? What's the tactical advantage there?
Well, think about it. A fixed board, no matter how bright or fancy, it only ever captures one specific spot, one stream of traffic, the mobile LED caravan. It fills that gap of flexibility. It can pursue the audience.
Follow the crowd, basically.
Exactly. These vans are great because they can hit multiple high traffic zones. Think Dhaka University during admission time, New Market during Eid shopping, Farmgate during rush hour, hitting them specifically during peak times when your target audience is most likely to be there. It's about optimizing reach dynamically.
So it's less about waiting for people to come to you
Yeah.
and more about going to where they are. I think I saw a case study on this in the sources, didn't I? Showing it works.
You did. There was a great example. a retail business owner, they saw a 45% jump in walk-in customers just after 1 month. And that was using strategic digital billboards in Gulshan combined with that tactical mobile LED caravan hitting other key areas.
Wow, 45% increase.
That's a direct, measurable outcome from being smart and agile with placement.
Okay, so based on everything we've dug into, what are the top maybe 3 pieces of advice? Crucial guidance for our listener who wants to maximize ROI, whether they have a huge budget or a smaller one.
Okay, 3 things. First, targeted location. Seriously, don't just chase the most expensive spot on the map. Think about your specific audience. A slightly less crowded, maybe cheaper location might be much better if it's where your customers actually are.
Makes sense. What's second?
Second, simple message. Remember, people are usually moving when they see these ads, walking, driving, on a bus. Your creative has to be super clear, super impactful, instantly understandable. Think bold visuals, minimal text, quick retention is key.
Right. Less is more. And the third tip, does that tie back to cost?
It does. Third is run long-term campaigns if you can. You get much more bargaining power with the vendors. They often give pretty significant discounts if you commit to, say, 3 months or 6 months instead of just 1. Your overall exposure goes up and your average cost per month comes down.
Good practical advice.
Okay.
Okay, finally, let's look ahead a bit. Connecting the physical ad to, well, a digital result. You hear about programmatic DOOH coming, measuring clicks, not just eyeballs.
Yeah, this is definitely where the advanced edge of the market is heading. And the importance of integrating tools like QR codes, it really can't be overstated right now.
Why QR codes specifically?
Because that's the simplest, most direct way to bridge the physical ad someone sees on the street with a digital action on their phone. Scan the code, go to a landing page, get a discount, sign up for something.
Right, makes it trackable.
Exactly. It allows the advertiser to actually track conversions, see how many people scanned, what they did next. It makes that OOH spend, which was traditionally hard to measure, much more data-driven and, accountable.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this all up. To recap everything we've pulled together today. Digital billboard advertising, DOOH, it's clearly a smart, strategic move for brands wanting awareness and visibility in Bangladesh's cities.
Absolutely.
Costs vary hugely, sure, from maybe BDD-free 1.5 lakh up to that 20 lakh peak. But that flexibility, the real-time engagement, the sheer creative power, it gives digital a massive edge over old static media, especially if you're smart about combining it with targeted placement, maybe those mobile options.
And don't forget that real-world value proof point. That strategic approach directly led to a measurable 45% increase in walk-in customers for that retailer. So the investment, it demonstrably pays off in actual foot traffic, actual conversions when you do it right.
And if we zoom out, look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's not only about the ads and the immediate sales lift, is it? There's something happening with the technology itself that matters for, well, how our cities look and function.
Indeed. I mean, these modern LED systems, they're engineered for really high visibility, right? So they cut through even in harsh sunlight, which is important here. But the sources also point to a definite trend towards smarter and, importantly, more sustainable systems.
Sustainable how?
Well, the newer advanced LEDs consume significantly less power than older screens. They also tend to have a much longer operational lifespan. So this isn't just about putting up ads, it's actually becoming part of the city's infrastructure in a way.
Okay, that actually raises a really interesting final question for you, our listener, to think about. Given this industry push for smarter, longer-lasting, more energy-efficient LED systems, what does this long-term tech and maybe ecological commitment to advanced DOH really mean for the future? For urban infrastructure, for how we consume media in Bangladeshi cities, are these big smart screens just the beginning of truly integrated smart city systems? Something to definitely mull over as you see these screens popping up everywhere.